Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Well, we just have to start from the news coming from Chelsea. The Blues right now, they've confirmed the sacking of Thomas Tuchel, the German coach that has been with them for a while. But from the way it is, the reaction of different fans across the whole world right now concerning the sack of Thomas Tuchel after all this achievement in Chelsea. Well, Chelsea just made a statement concerning that, and I have in the studio Ibrahim Yusuf. Good to have you in the studio. Right
Always
now.
Nice to be here.
Well, Abdullahi Kabir, good to have you too.
Great to be here.
Let's start with the Thomas Tuchel sack right now. That's the breaking news everywhere that the German man has been, coach rather, has been relieved of his position as the coach of Chelsea, or you want to call him manager, but now he's ex-manager of Chelsea.
Actually, honestly, I didn't see this coming. I didn't think that things at Chelsea were as bad as that. I never thought that. I knew they were not having a very good season. They haven't started very well as they would have wanted. But still, I didn't think that his job was on the line. I don't believe he thought his job was on the line as well. Seriously? So it has come as a shock to a lot of football fans out there that Tuchel was actually sacked. I think maybe the performance yesterday played a part in it.
Zagreb actually caused this, although it has been building up, starting from the beginning of the season.
Exactly, when they had very poor results. And, well, they seem to have picked up a little bit when it comes to the Premier League. But I think overall is the general performance of the team entirely. I think the management wasn't seeing the performance that they would have wanted to see. But it has excusable, because you have a lot of new players that are coming in. You have to blend these players. You have to integrate new players into the team, and of course, have to give them time to buy into the philosophy. I think they pulled the trigger a little bit too early. They should have given him some
you're
time.
talking about the management now.
Exactly, the management. They should have given him a little more time to see if he could be able to salvage the situation. But I think maybe they decided maybe they should go early so that they can bring in a new man, and the new man can impart his ideas as soon as possible so that they can have the turn of fortune that they want. But I don't think it's the right time or a good move on Chelsea's part.
Well, I agree. Very harsh decision, especially the timing as well. Just after the transfer window closed, Chelsea spent record levels, invested in so many players, some left. So the timing is a bit questionable, honestly. The new owner, the American guy, I don't know whether he really understands football and the way it works.
He's a businessman. I think he really needs to understand, because right now, whoever they are going to bring into Chelsea now will find it difficult.
But even the business side of it wasn't that fantastic.
Yes.
They had a transfer window whereby they spent on a lot of players that were really not worth it.
Number one.
Exactly, Kukurea is number one. Fofana was
number two. 70 million pounds.
You understand, and a cash plus deal, a cash plus player deal for Aubameyang. It's not really, it's really not good business at all. So for a businessman, he's not really that business-wise when it comes to what he did in Chelsea, because. All right, now you've planned for the season, or you have a project which you've planned for with a particular manager. You spent boatloads of money bringing in players that we believe they did in tandem with Tuchel, and now you sacked him. Yes. How sure are you the next manager that comes in will be able to work with these crop of players that you actually have right now?
Okay, while you're talking, let's look at this email coming from Chelsea. Thomas will rightly have a place in Chelsea history, according to Chelsea management. A statement from Chelsea on behalf of everyone at Chelsea. The club will like to place on record his gratitude to Thomas and his staff for all their efforts during their time with the club. Thomas will rightly have a place in Chelsea history after winning the Champions League, Super Cup, and Club World Cup in his time here. Well, Chelsea said there will be no further comment on the matter until a new head coach appointment is made, as the new ownership group reaches 100 days since taking over the club. 100, yeah, not even up to 100 days. And as it is continuing his hard work to take the club forward, the new owners believe it is the right time to make this transition. The statement continues. Looking at this statement, the new owners are yet to reach 100 days. They've sacked
their manager coach after spending a boatload of money.
And Marina Gravkaya thereabout was also relieved of her job. Yes. They are yet to get a sporting director. They are looking at maybe they will appoint Maxwell. You understand? And from the way it is, I'm seeing a lot of trouble coming to Chelsea. We saw how hard it was to finally get a buyer for the club when issue of Abramovich happened. Yeah. And now, removing Thomas Tuchel now, we actually have a big toll on that club.
It's a bit chaotic.
That is the thing.
The way they're handling it, I don't know, is a bit chaotic. I think since last year, you can even say, because some of the signings they've made, Lukaku, they signed him, they've let him go. the players, Rudiger, his contract expired, the way they're handling things at the club. I don't know maybe who's available at the moment. Probably Pochettino might be the next manager to come in, but honestly, it's a bit chaotic. I don't know, Americans, maybe I'm biased, but
you see, the problem is when you have an owner who, sorry to say, doesn't know much about football, and trying to insert himself on how to run a football club, you have a problem. You know, Roman came to Chelsea. He knew he had the money. He didn't have the football head. He brought people who knew football to run the club for him, and he supplied the money. You understand?
And
yes,
it's worked out.
Exactly. He still, yeah, he had influence on some decisions that were actually made. But the real football was actually handled by the people who knew what football was all about. But really, as the way things are going right now, we don't really know. I don't personally know where Todd Bowley's head is right now, but it's not in the right place. And I think any Chelsea fan right now, worth his salt, should be worried about where the club is heading. He just raised a very important question now. Who's coming in? How many?
Who is available
how
now?
How many world-class managers, world-class,
can
that
take
is the
over
thing,
this job
do
and
we
perform?
have right now at the moment that are available and are currently sitting idle waiting for Chelsea's call? You say Mauricio Pochettino. Well, he's the biggest name probably
I just
around.
remember Zinedine
Zidane will not be a good fit for Chelsea. I think the worst mistake Zidane will do for himself
to go
and
to Chelsea
is for him to come to Chelsea now. Well, he may be tempted with the money or something like that.
or the fact that he has been jobless for a while.
But I don't think it's the right fit. I really don't think it's the
Pochettino,
right fit.
Zinedine Zidane, and who again?
That is the thing. You can count the
Those are
number.
the two
You can count
if
the
you want
number
to
of
count
people
what
on one
class
hand.
now.
On one hand, they are not even up to you won't be able to exhaust your fingers on one hand to count the number of world-class managers that are lying fallow right now, waiting for jobs. So it's really not the right time for you to do this. And I think it's a knee-jerk reaction to how the season started, which is not very good for Chelsea Football Club.
How many matches? Just 5-6 matches, and then you get him. Although Dinamo Zagreb, that defeat really could actually be the icing on the cake, but the build-up to this particular sack has been happening. Chelsea really, they've not had that particular. Patience is never in the book of Chelsea management.
But still, this is too sudden. It's too sudden and it's too early.
Some manager that has won them their second ever Champions League,
Super Cup, Club
World Cup. Honestly, with the resources he had, took over from Lampard when they were struggling, turned everything around.
And then you look at Manchester United. The patience when Erik ten Hag took over, the first 2 matches was like.
They were
okay, let's see what they can do, and things turn around.
Exactly. So I think really, even based on what he has already done for Chelsea, I think he deserves that. He deserves a little more time to.
Let's say, we are giving you 10 matches.
You said you said you wanted these players. We've backed you in the transfer window. We have gotten these players for you. Let's see what you can do. I mean, like, this is not enough time for him to blend these new players that he actually has. There are other people. There are players that haven't even made their debut that were bought under Tuchel, and now you're going to bring somebody in who's going to start all over again. It's really not the right time. I don't think it's the right move for Chelsea Football Club. Maybe they're seeing something that we haven't.
Or maybe something behind the scenes, maybe a disagreement or something we don't know, because it might not just necessarily be about results on the pitch. Maybe they've had some kind of disagreement. I think his comments after the match yesterday, he was saying something regarding the players or something wasn't right after his
well, from the way it is, we've been talking concerning Thomas Tuchel that have been sacked by Chelsea, and the statement from Chelsea confirmed that they will be looking for a new head coach to tinker the tank of that, the Blues, as they call them. Right now, Thomas Tuchel has become an ex-manager of Chelsea. What a way to go. Well, no patience there anyway. People have been talking, and right now, a lot of people are saying, well, they should have just given him a chance to prove himself. Maybe at least ultimatum of 10 matches or extra 5. But well, he's been booted out by the management of that club while they are looking for a sporting director. The Blues, well, we wait to see what's going to actually be unfolding from Stamford Bridge there. Breaking news, Chelsea actually doing away with Thomas Tuchel, the German. Well, let's move on to this other stories trending. Well, USA, they defeated the first leg 4-0, but the second leg that was playing Washington, D.C. ended 2-1 in favor of the U.S. team. Although this time around, our ladies put up a lazy performance, despite the fact that they were playing against the world champion. They came out smoking. It ended 2-1. Good one for Nigeria, at least, even though we lost. But I saw an improvement in the performance of the ladies, although we had an own goal. But to be candid, the performance in this second game was far, far better than the first one.
Yeah, well, we spoke about this yesterday, and we talked about how we should place less importance on the results and actually look at the performance of our girls. And we were looking forward to a positive performance, which we got. And I think they responded very well. And if we can continue on this trajectory, I think the Falcons will go a long way in doing what we expect them to do, because we've always come to associate the Falcons with doing something very, very positive. If not on the world stage, at least on the continental level. We haven't seen that recently. But I think this is a good one. It's a good starting point for us to say, okay, let's do a minor rebuild and a minor reshuffle of the Falcons. And I think this is a very, very good result, very good performance for them, because we were talking about Brazil and South Africa, how South Africa got...
It ended 9-0.
Exactly, it was a disaster for them. And even though I heard the South African coach saying that she wasn't really concerned about the result, but the performance of her team and, and all that. But still, for us, it's actually a very good one. 2-1 is not a bad one. We didn't get totally obliterated, which is something that we tried to avoid. And of course, the performance of the girls was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Not a bad result. It's 2-1 against USA. Probably the benchmark when it comes to women's football. They're one of the best. So testing yourself amongst the best and getting a decent result, not getting embarrassed, like you said. Even though it was a friendly, but a good, not a bad result for the Super Falcons, I guess, going forward.
Not a bad result for Super Falcons. They were able to get at least one back out of the 2 goals they conceded. Good one. Right now, we're playing Japan next in our next friendly that will be coming up in October. Now we move away from the international friendly that took place in USA. Let's talk about the big one that actually called the sack of Thomas Tuchel. But right now, we look at the UEFA Champions League matches where played 8 matches. Let's look at the result as it went down. Dinamo Zagreb, they pipped Chelsea by a lone goal in that game in Croatia. Salzburg 1-1 against AC Milan. No one saw that coming. Real Madrid 3-0 against Celtic. Hazard, you have to get up to Luka Modric. And remember, Vinny Jr. Leipzig against Shakhtar. Shakhtar coming out smoking 4-1. Dortmund 3-0 against FC Copenhagen of Denmark. You have 4-0 coming from Manchester City. Erling Haaland won't stop scoring. A brace there for the Norwegian. Good one. And Benfica against Maccabi Haifa 2-0. PSG Juventus 2-1. Mbappe breaking against all the witchcraft against him. Good one for in that particular game now. Well, looking at the result, let's take it 2-2. Our time is running out. Dinamo Zagreb, Chelsea, the icing on the cake of Thomas Tuchel's fall.
Yeah, well, we didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming, really. I knew Dinamo was a very good team, and they have the potential to pull up to pull an upset. But I think everybody was surprised with this result. Even Thomas Tuchel himself.
Seriously, you just have to look at the beating of defender, and you wonder how come before the goal went in.
He looked heavy.
Oh my goodness!
He looked heavy as he was running with that attacker. I mean, like it didn't look. It was not fantastic.
Oh, was he shocked that this guy actually?
But he could have fouled him and just taken one for the team. It happens. It happens in football.
Maybe he's not match fit. He has been on isolation with Leicester. He hasn't been playing. Wanted to leave, so maybe he's not match fit. He needs to get fit in the gym.
Well, that's where you have to fault the manager, because if the manager has doubt over his fitness, then he should have played him, because this was very slow. It was very slow and pedestrian. I think
£70 million.
Exactly.
Then Khalidou Koulibaly, all of that.
Exactly.
I think really it's always very painful when coach, although you still have to blame players, so they have their own blame, because if player doesn't win games, the coach will get the one to bear the brunt for all the activities.
Exactly.
Now he has been sacked. The players are still
there. They're still there. They're still collecting their wages, and they're still there, and they're still playing. They'll still play under the new manager as well. But Tuchel now has to brush up his CV.
I can imagine what's going on between Aubameyang now and the rest of the team right now, because he just came in and the man that brought him in has been removed.
Exactly. So you can imagine how that will mess with the head of the players. So it's really not a good one for Chelsea.
I
Chelsea
think
are not in a good place right
Kabiru
now.
seems to be having one. The way you are looking at Aubameyang, you have something to say about him, kind of.
Oh, well, you know, Aubameyang with his off-field issues with discipline and all of that. So the new manager that's coming in might have issues with him. I might not decide to play him. You know how it ended up at Arsenal with Arteta, always complaining he's come late to training, go partying and all.
And the only man that actually knew him from
Tuchel,
way back, from Dortmund, Borussia
yeah.
Dortmund.
Exactly, and I think that played a very big role in Aubameyang coming to Chelsea. And now the person that has made that happen is no longer there. So I think it's going to be a tough one.
Well, we've been talking concerning Chelsea. We are losing against Dinamo Zagreb in a shocking defeat there. Not that people underrate Dinamo Zagreb, but at least you have to look at Chelsea should be able to do well in that game. It was a turn of the table there, and that has actually got the sack for their former manager. Salzburg, AC Milan. I'm sure you didn't see this coming 2-1-1, even with your jet.
We talked about this yesterday. We talked about how good Salzburg actually are. I wasn't wide off the mark. I wasn't wide off the mark. I wasn't really wide off the mark. But we know how good Salzburg are. They're a very quick, young, attacking team, and I think it's a fair result when you look at the balance of play in its entirety.
I think I will give it to Salzburg because looking at the pedigree of AC Milan, the experience in Champions League.
When it comes to pedigree, you actually expect Milan to actually get it. But when you look at the current Milan team, they are a very young side. When you remove Olivier Giroud and maybe a couple of other players, how many of them actually played beyond last season's Champions League? A lot of them have very, very minimal experience when it comes to the Champions League. So I think it was a fair result all round.
Well, we're still looking at the result there. A lot of matches were played. We look at Celtic, Real Madrid. Luka Modric, it was a nice chip there for the man, the Croat rather. Actually done well for himself. And you look at, Benzema getting an hamstring injury there. Well, good one for Hazard, finally. At least Hazard has been able to score, and I'm happy for him. Maybe this could actually bring the best out for Hazard.
Yeah, it's good for his confidence. You know, having been since he moved to Real Madrid, it hasn't really worked out for him. So now with Benzema's injury, you don't know how long he'll be out for. So it's a good opportunity for Hazard since they don't have another striker. Maybe he'll play that false nine role, and we'll see how it goes. But Real Madrid, they really showed their class. Celtic actually did well in the first half. They really held their. But Real Madrid, their class and experience in this competition. Modric, Vinicius Junior, that boy is just on form this season. Since the beginning of last season. So Real Madrid, that was a very good result for them.
A good result from Real Madrid, Ibrahim. You look at that game and somebody said, well, I think Real Madrid, where they dropped the button last season, they picked it from there and the race has actually continued.
When you have players that actually in the mold of Luka Modric, you should expect a lot of things from a team like that. You know, when it comes to Real Madrid, they always find a way, no matter how it is. But I think I think the win, the euphoria of the win has been overshadowed by Benzema's injury. We've always talked about this. Benzema took them to the Champions League title last season. Everybody knows that. His goals are a very integral part of how Real Madrid actually play. Can Hazard do it? I really don't think so. He can do what he can, and maybe with support of other members of the team, they can be able to pull things together. But really, the loss of Benzema is a very, very big blow. We're not sure for how long he's going to be away and how that is going to affect the team. But really, it's a big blow to lose Benzema at this particular point.
Hopefully we'll get back. Hamstring injury for Benzema there. Still looking at the result of UEFA Champions League. Another big one, Manchester City, Sevilla. You look at, maybe before we go to Manchester City, Leipzig against Shakhtar Donetsk. It was a fantastic one for the Ukrainian team. They were able to win away in Germany 4-1. Congrats to them. I really put up my thumbs up for that team.
Honestly, that was a shock result. That was an upset. I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking
a real upset.
Honestly, Leipzig with their attack, they brought back Werner, Nkunku, there's Andre Silva. I was thinking that it should be a comfortable win for them. But Shakhtar Donetsk really surprised them. Was it Murdic? I think that's the name of one of their players. Very talented boy.
Yeah, he was linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, he was linked with Chelsea. Even Arsenal too, they were linked with him. So the Ukrainian club, given the situation in Ukraine, screen, at least putting smiles on their faces. But Leipzig, honestly, they need to ask questions of themselves, because how could they lose so convincingly in their own home? Honestly, very shocking result. I wasn't expecting that.
While we're still talking about that, another one. Well, you have to give it up to Borussia Dortmund. Michael Rose among the scorers there against FC Copenhagen. Copenhagen right now, they are without the Nigerian Akikume Amo, who is injured out there. Well, 3-0 for Dortmund. Good one for them at the Signal Iduna Park in Germany. Sevilla against Manchester City. That's another big one where Erling Haaland right now is breaking record, more grounds for the Norwegian. Right, he was able to score a brace in that game.
Well, Erling Haaland is actually on any day. The guy is absolutely unplayable, and the stats speak for themselves. And you know, he's not the kind of player that is going to get like 1,001 touches in a game or something like. He doesn't play like that. He gets a few touches, and his goals to touch ratio is absolutely amazing. We're not even talking about goals to games right now. You might go and touch the ball 8 times and score a hat-trick.
Efficient.
So that's the thing. His numbers actually speak. The guy is a beast, and he's unplayable on any day. I think Manchester United and Manchester City, sorry, and they got him on the cheap, as far as I'm concerned, considering how the last transfer window actually went. If you're buying players like Fofana for 70 million and all that, and you're getting Haaland for the money that you got him, I mean, like, it's a bargain. I don't know how much they're paying him a weekly.
But really,
basis,
no matter what, really, this guy deserves 100 million pounds.
No, at least if they're quoting Declan Rice, if they're quoting 150 million for Declan Rice, I think then Haaland should be more than 400 million. Really? 400 of course, 400 million compared to Declan Rice at 150. And buying Jack Grealish for 100 million as well.
That's actually bringing a good one there. But really, Haaland, Manchester City really got him on the cheap. The money they spent to get that player, in fact, I'm sure they were always thinking, how did we do it?
And there wasn't even like a transfer tug of war. There was no nobody challenged them. They just went in there, gave the paltry amount of money, and he came. And there was no fanfare.
Maybe the influence of his dad, one way or the other. Dad.
But still, even if it is testing the waters, I mean, like a club would have come, okay, let's take 100 million, let's see what happens. You understand? But there was no challenge. There was no auction. Haaland just went.
But do you know, actually, to some extent, Manchester United could have been able to get him through courtesy one way or the other.
But
even the dad wanted him to go.
But he would want to play the Champions League. He wouldn't want to be playing
Wednesday. Before they crashed.
He wouldn't have wanted to play Thursday night football. I mean, nobody wants to play Thursday night football.
Before Manchester United actually get relegated to Thursday football.
I think his dad famously had one issue with Roy Keane back in their playing days. He injured him or something, so maybe he's not the best fan of Man United. But regarding his fee, I think there was a clause or something in his contract that said if he had one more year to go, they would sell him on the cheap. But yeah, it was a bargain buy, considering that they sold Jesus for a similar 50 million pounds, and Haaland, if you do the math, that means they got Haaland for probably like 10 million extra.
I can imagine in the next 3 years how much Manchester City will be catching out on Erling Haaland. If that's if
they want to leave,
and if he maintains the current level,
he will maintain it. Don't say that.
Except for injuries, maybe injuries. But
just to add some spice to what we've been talking about, you have a Champions League result, and you look at Maccabi Haifa against Benfica, 2-0. Juventus PSG 2-1. Kylian Mbappe, like I said earlier, at least has been able to break that doldrum against him. A lot of revelation coming from Pogba and all that.
I think Pogba should go and ask for a refund.
Seriously?
Yes, I think the juju man did not.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. I think that was very with the juju.
Not that it shouldn't be scoring, but not to at least outshine him in the French team.
Well,
not to score for PSG. They are not in the same club, but in the French team. I think that's where the witch doctor actually casts a spell on him.
Can you be that specific with that kind of thing?
But seriously, let's just look at PSG versus Juventus, a match that saw Kylian Mbappe scoring a brace and outstanding performance from PSG. Expect that, and you have to give it up to them for what they did. For now, that game. One of the biggest games yesterday, and a lot of action was actually put up there. But I look at PSG. They have all the stars, but they need to do more.
They have been having all the stars all this while, but they still haven't.
If they have to win this trophy,
League. Exactly. If they have to win the Champions League, they need there's still something extra that they need to do, and they're still missing it. You know, that point, that missing link is actually, they haven't really gotten it yet. And I think still this is not the season.
KB?
Well, looking at the new manager Gatlia, since he came in, it's like he's really improved.
But seriously, Gaultier? Can he?
I never heard of him before.
Exactly.
But in fairness,
break you out.
the
He has
results.
been in French League One for so many years.
Yes, he has been doing it in the League 1, but PSG don't need somebody who's going to do something in League 1. I mean, like, if they give you PSG, you win League 1.
That's true. But
Seriously?
They could have won more than 2-1 yesterday. Given the chances they missed, Mbappe missed chances, so many of them. So they really played well yesterday. I think the signing Vitinha, they signed in midfield, they really did well with Verratti and the guys that came off the bench. I think PSG, you know, every year they say this could be their year, but this year it probably could be their year.
No. I don't see it. I don't see it. Not with Gaultier on the bench.
Manchester City and
maybe if
PSG,
they get something in.
Both of them, the obsession they have for Champions League, well, it keeps eluding them. Maybe they should just subpedal and see what if they can.
No, they have already gone full throttle. They can't go back.
They can't go back. It's not easy. So far you have that test of Champions League trophy.
And both of them have actually gone to the final recently, and they haven't really made it. So I think they still believe every year.
All they need to do is to talk to Real Madrid. How are you guys doing it? We just have to go now on 360 Sports with Ibrahim Yusuf. Thank you very much.
Always nice to be here, Adeni.
And Abdullahi Kabiru. Also, I want to appreciate you for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
I am Adeni Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.